Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm Chris Whitaker. I'm the program manager for the Young Leaders in Cricket program. I'm expecting one or two more, so we'll get going in the meantime. So what I'm going to talk to you about tonight is the program, how it works, kind of why we put it together, and then exactly what's contained in it. And hopefully you'll get a good sense of what's required and what we can deliver for you. So kicking off, these are kind of the key words I'll be talking about. They're life skills, leadership, and volunteering. And how the three sort of come together, if you like, into a package is we've taken all the life skills that are very if you like, predominant in cricket, and then align them with the leadership skills, again, that sit within the different modules that we'll be talking about, and then how they can upskill you as a young person to become a volunteer, to be able to volunteer effectively at your clubs, and volunteer with purpose, if you like. So in terms of the life skills, there are any number that are contained, and particularly in team sports, when you're playing with a group of people, there's certain characteristics, if you like, in terms of creating sort of friendship groups amongst the team that you're playing, and working together, but also as an individual within a team environment. And the leadership part comes from putting your hand up to be part of the kind of decision making, if you like, during a game, and that could be setting field placings, doing other types of leadership roles, or taking on other types of leadership roles. And cricket, in a way, is different in as much as you, as an individual, can make a big impact on the game. So, as a batter, you can obviously score lots of runs, and then kind of create enough of an impact to win the game, similarly as a bowler. But it very still much relies on the component of the team in order to often win the games. And sometimes everybody just contributes a bit, and the sum is then greater than the parts. So looking at a few more of those particular life skills, I've talked about teamwork, and I would say all these life skills are transferable. And when we put the program together, it was very much about how do we take these great characteristics of cricket and make them relevant for longer. So we've been joined by Jane, who's the operations manager for Young Leaders in Cricket. So I'll get her to jump in at some point when we're talking about the delivery side of things. So in terms of life skills being transferable, and we were keen that they were all there and were useful skills that you could take on into whatever the next walk of life that you might go into. That might be higher education, it might be vocational training, it could be straight into the job market. So resilience is one of those, and in sport you need resilience, and in cricket in particular, if you play the game, you can go through the highs and lows of getting a first ball duck or getting thrashed all around the park as a bowler, and it's how you deal with that. So one of the modules covers that exact subject, how you deal with your resilience, and we give you some strategies and ideas about how you can do that. Commitment's another one, and again, within a team environment, being committed to the cause or committed to the team is very important in order to deliver a kind of positive outcome. And self-management and responsibility. So in a volunteering environment, that is really important, because if you do want to volunteer and you do become a volunteer, then and people ask you to deliver something as a volunteer, being properly self-managed, as in, and taking on the responsibility of turning up on time, delivering what you're asked to deliver, is very important. So again, we cover those specific parts of the life skills that come out of cricket, and then translate them into a volunteering type program. So the purpose of the program always was, and as I said, when we sat down, it was a group of us that decided that we wanted to offer young people the opportunity to be able to volunteer, as I say, in an effective way at their clubs. What did we need to include in the program, and what was going to be the purpose of it? Well, the purpose was about specifically acquiring the skills, but it was also to kind of encourage the volunteering aspect. I'm somebody who's volunteered all my life, so I've got a lot out of it, and I think benefited from it personally in terms of my kind of self-development and the rest of it. So I was keen to see if I could put that back, if you like, and put that back so that a young person could have the benefit of it. And we were keen to retain young people in the game. It's there tends to be a kind of drop off, if you like, at the 16, 17, 18 age group, just for any number of reasons. Part of it's about social thing, life changes, other things become more important, but for a long-term kind of involvement with the game and staying involved in sport, and obviously cricket is the one passion I have, and passion I'm presuming most of the young people have too. What opportunities can we create if we're not going to be high-performing players? Then how can we high perform in another way? And the volunteering certainly is a way that can be achieved. So we thought about how do we make this a program with a bit of quality, and we took, as I said, these different modules and put them together. The other bit was around trying to help young people create these, if you like, friendship groups and their social networks through club sport that is very much part of being part of a community. So how do we build on that community's life, if you like, that exists within a sports club? Part of that is volunteering. It's putting back something into the club. The other point was, when we started this, which was 17, 18 years ago, the diversity within the sort of volunteering sector was pretty non-existent. Okay, and we were very keen to start trying to broaden that out, both in terms of the gender, but also in terms of ethnic diversity. It's important because clubs are run by committees, and decisions are made about how the club's going to take itself forward, how it's going to perform. And really, the people who are represented at their club in all different ways, different genders, coming from different ethnic backgrounds, should be part of that decision-making process, because it's going to affect the way they interact with the game. So we deliberately kind of set out to try and make it attractive to both girls and boys, and to reach out into the wider community as well. Our timing was quite fortunate, and maybe it was partly what we could see what was coming. The game for girls cricket opened up hugely, and it was great, because that meant we were tapping into a new market, as it were. And the same with people from different ethnic backgrounds coming into. They were always there playing the game, but for whatever reason, they'd kind of sat outside, if you like, the structures of cricket, and for a whole number of reasons. And that was partly the fault of the way the game was governed. So fortunately, that's all gone, and now the game is massively more inclusive. we've seen the benefits of it. 3,000 new young people joining the game in the last few years. So, and all those young people are going to require young coaches. They're going to require young umpires. They're going to require young people to help prepare the surfaces we play on. All those kinds of things. So, I'll say, hopefully, or thankfully, we got our timing right. We also wanted to make the program sustainable in how it was delivered. And that was for a number of reasons. A, financially, we wanted to ensure that there was a low access point, if you like, for joining from a financial point of view for the parents. And then combining that with a fundraising element that had a wider social purpose. So, we would be helping to create that fundraising, not just for ourselves, but also for wider parts of society. And I'll explain a bit more of that when I get to it. So the program itself and what it looks like it's made up of 4 face-to-face modules, and then there are 3 online modules that are delivered over the course of the months, if you like, of the months of the season. And it's very much about, as I said, self-development and about the learning of these transferable skills. And again, as I've said, it takes those values and the skills and characteristics of that are embedded within cricket, and relies on the spirit of cricket as part of it. So, cricket is a sport that has the actual spirit of the game, or the manner in which the game is played, actually written into its laws. No other sport has that. They might have a code of conduct and all that kind of thing that sits around it, but they don't have it actually written into the laws of the game. So, and I think it's something we should treat, and make precious, because it's all about integrity and fairness and all the rest of it. We wanted to make it as enjoyable as possible, the program. That was really important, and kind of show how valuable volunteering could be, and how the impact it can have in a community club. I suppose the one great thing is it is a community of shared enthusiasm. In that, if you're in with a bunch of other volunteers at the club and you're working together to deliver whatever it is that you're going to be delivering, they're people who share the same passion as you. So you become part of if you like, a community. We also try and broaden the kind of number of topics that we cover. But we do that, and you can attend those at your discretion. But we just put some of them out there for you to have be able to attend and get a bit of a deeper dive, if you like, into certain areas of the game. And one of them's about the environment and about how cricket has a role to play within the environment, because it plays a role in a negative sense, but there's a huge role that we can play in a positive sense. So we look at that in a bit more depth. We look at things like the coaching techniques, and maybe delivering a kind of workshop on that. And then we also look at the business of cricket, because that's exploded massively in the last 20, 30 years. The IPL has completely changed the face of the game, and T20 cricket is a business that's run that has helped to sustain the game, if you like, financially. So there are a lot more opportunities available in those areas. So we'll just have a quick look at some of those. And just to say that the group is overlooked by people who deliver, manage it voluntarily, and other people who are paid volunteers, as it were. Okay, so we're getting to the bit about where this sits, if you like, within the wider organizational part of cricket, if you like. Okay, so this comes from the ECB's volunteering strategy that they published some months ago. And I was keen when they published it to see what was in there, or how they perceive the kind of importance of volunteering and where it's at. And I was pleased to see that when they talked about their mission and their vision, and they talked about cricket's core values, did we reflect those? And yeah, I read through all that and I thought we absolutely do. We run ours on respect. We completely embrace enjoyment, because there's no point delivering something to the age group that we are without making it as enjoyable as possible. And it certainly does build a sense of belonging in as much as, like I said, that sort of community of a shared enthusiasm. And we do try and make it progressive, so that the new skills being taught and learned as part of the program. So this brings me to the part where Jane gets involved, and she's going to talk a bit about the training and the modules. So Jane's had 2 sons that went through the program herself, so she very much can see it from the parent's point of view, and what's involved in actually putting your child through the program. So Jane, if you want to just kind of run through the modules, and like I said, you can obviously relate it with your personal experience of putting your children through it. So if you just could maybe describe the modules, and then we talk about when they're delivered.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Thanks everybody for joining. Yeah, as to reiterate what Chris has said already, this is such a great program, not only for the participants, but for the clubs actually. So it's, as Chris said, I've had 2 boys that have gone through this program, so I fully believe in what this program enables our youngsters with the skills and the tools to actually, not just in what they do at the cricket club, but in the broader spectrum of whatever they're going to do in their life. So just talking about the modules, we are, if you've already signed up, registered for the program, you will be receiving an invite to join Play, which is the sports management tool we use. I know most of you will probably be familiar with Spond, so it's a very similar platform to that, and that's where all the information will be available to you on what's been offered in terms of running the training courses. So we have got the next week we have got some training modules that we're running in various regions in the southeast, and also we're going as far as Norfolk and maybe Worcester, I'm not sure yet. So that will, if you can get onto one for next week, they will, and that's local to you, that will consist of either young activator and the young cricket official, or it might also include the first aid module. So that would be a full day of training. If you can't get on to any of them that are being run next week, we will be looking at other dates in May half term of running the first aid training module in an evening at a cricket club local to you. It's quite a tricky job juggling where you're from, where we have 1 or 2 members from a particular cricket club, trying to find a host club that is convenient for you, that has enough participants that want to join the program, that we can run the courses effectively. So I would encourage, if you are signing up and you're on an individual basis, I would encourage you to reach out to your child's teammates to actually join the program as a cohort together, because that not only makes my job easier, in which case I can run a program specifically for your area, but also it's a much more beneficial experience for your child to do it with their teammates, whether it's across 2 age groups, 3 age groups in the club. It makes it much more fulfilling for them, and actually makes them feel like they belong to the club. And the club itself and the committee will actually see the benefit of having the youngsters, the young leaders who are helping out the club. So just from the whole range of opinion of what's going on, it would make it a really good experience for them. But I would encourage you to sign up and fill out the registration form, so hopefully you don't miss out on what's happening next week.
Okay, and also just to reiterate, so the 3 online ones run pretty much every week or every other week. So you'll have up until the end of May, or if necessary, we'll push it on into June to attend one of those 3 modules. They run in the early evenings, and they're delivered by trainers who are highly experienced in what they do. So just looking back at those different modules, the 4 face-to-face ones are the activator, the young cricket officials, the groundskeeping, which has got environmental awareness in along with it, a first aid, which is a first aid awareness course, and then the 3 online ones are fundraising, the mental resilience workshop, and then this year we also have included a safeguarding awareness one, which is a short 30-minute one, which really has probably been, if you like, become more into focus in the last couple of years, and we're keen to kind of start talking about safeguarding at this particular age. Okay, so the courses, as Jane said, running next week and then beyond in the May half term, they'll all be repeated again, and then during the summer term itself, we will, where possible, run modules in the early evening. So we'll split them up into 3 separate modules. So you'll have a chance to complete by the end of the middle of July would be probably the latest you'd want to be completing them. And that's because you've got volunteering hours to complete and the fundraising to do. So we want to make sure you've got enough time to do that. Okay, so just give you a quick overview on these. So the activator one is the coaching module, and it's very much about, as you can see there, a lot of leadership and a lot of life skills required, and they come out of this. So we run these as very engaging, interactive sessions where we get the young people to create and deliver the sessions, so that they understand what it's going to be like acting in a coach support role in order to develop their coaching skills. And coaching, as any adult knows, is something that's invaluable within a commercial life, for example, where people who can coach others are people who are very highly respected and very valuable within a commercial environment. So this is the very entry level to coaching and understanding what's involved with it and how you can deliver as a coach yourself. Then there's the Young Cricket Officials course, which is again the kind of introduction to officiating, which can then lead on to the umpiring side of it. So it's how to work with juniors, because as a young leader, you'll be working mostly with the younger age groups, and this is how you run pairs cricket, continuous cricket, quick cricket, as an official, if you like, as somebody who looks after how the game is run, make sure that it's run according to the rules, and all that kind of that part of organizing a game and making sure that it's being done properly. We also teach you how to score. So this is done with the Play Cricket Scorer app, which is a brilliant, massively intuitive app, and it makes scoring hugely accessible, basically to anyone. Once you get on the app and you understand how you can use it, it's very very easy to use. Okay, so The third one, and just in between these, I just want to point out that all the modules on here are pathways into other ones that you can do if you are, one of them grabs your interest, you want to go and learn more about them. So there are coach support worker would be the next level that you'd go on as a young person into the sort of onto the first rung of the ladder to go into the official coaching pathway. Similarly with the young officials, the umpiring association has a level 1 course that you could start on and become a young official, like those 2 young people there. And groundskeeping, similarly, there's pathways into being able to manage surfaces, which is essentially what groundskeeping is, in a more professional way. And all of them can lead to paid opportunities within the game, because clubs need young coaches to deliver holiday courses, for example. It's a way that they raise revenue, and having young coach volunteers to start with, and then once they've kind of gone through their volunteering, become paid volunteers. It's a massive asset for clubs. The groundskeeping one is again, like I said, it's aligned with environmental awareness, and we're keen that it demonstrates the role and the part that cricket can play in mitigating its impact. So we look at a bit of the science of grass, okay, and the way that the pitches are put together. Our sport so relies on having a good surface to play on, and it's a fairly specialist kind of activity, but it does require people to assist with. So a lot of it is in order to get a good outcome, you do need to repeat a lot of it. So rolling would be a great example, mowing the outfield. And those are not necessarily needing specialist people to do them. They're needing volunteers who can help out with them. So very, very important part of the volunteering side of things. And if you can help the groundsperson with their preparation, then you become a very valuable asset. The first aid one is, and we wanted to include this because it's a wider societal skill, if you like. It's something that society will always benefit from, because it's a trained up first somebody who can deliver first aid is a useful person to have in any situation, whether it's a sporting situation or just out in wider society. The fact that Alistair Cook's grinning out at, well, not quite grinning out at us, looking serious as he was complimenting a young person who'd gone through the program, who was actually able to use the skills that they were given to intervene in a situation which basically led to somebody's life being saved. Just because they were able to react quickly. They weren't delivering any kind of paramedic type assistance. They were able to react quickly and get the person in the recovery position and do what was needed. And that gave us a lot of, obviously, not kudos, I don't want to call it that. It was just affirmation that what we were doing was the right thing. Okay, so how do we fund the program? And like I said to you, we were always keen that the entry level cost of it was kept down to as manageable a level as possible. So we settled on a split, doing it in a split revenue way. So starting with a subscription to sign up for the program was £70, and then we asked the young leaders each of them to raise £60 towards the program. But we want them to do that fundraising, like I said, as part of a wider cause. And again, contained within that are all kinds of great learnings. So in order to fundraise, and fundraising on your own is very difficult, and we encourage them rather to do it as a group. Again, and it could be a group if they're a group of young leaders all on the program together, or within a group of people from the club that you're from. and there's a lot of self-fulfillment in it. There's a lot of event management, if you like, project planning, delivery, all kinds of useful skills. And people who can fundraise or be part of a fundraising group will always be an asset in whatever situation it is, and particularly within community club life, where clubs so hugely rely on both volunteering and fundraising as part of the way that they run their clubs. Community clubs don't manage on just subscriptions. They need additional input, specifically in terms of revenue, and that comes from fundraising. So I'll show you some of the kind of examples of fundraising that young people have taken on. They're varied, and they are a lot of good fun often in doing them. So this really just covers what I've said. Work as a group to achieve it. The money that goes back into the program is to ensure that we can bring more young people on using the model that we've got. So a low, as affordable an entry cost alongside then volunteering, volunteering and then the fundraising, and the insight into why it's important to fundraise, and that not only benefits your club, but if you're doing it for the wider cause, it's the cause that you're going to benefit. We support cardiac risk in the young and the Ruth Strauss Foundation as two of the charities that we support, and suggest to you that they might be ones that you raise money for. But there are any number of other causes out there that might be close to your heart, and it could be a club project, for example, improving the change rooms, putting more girls' change rooms, for example, that kind of thing. So the cause is down to you. It's the cause that you feel is either close to your heart or something you want to get involved with. There's some ideas from last year, and they all are different, varied, and people with young people with different ideas about who and what they wanted to fundraise for. The two girls in the middle raised for a charity in Kenya, I think it was. It was a girls' charity in Kenya that supplied girls with personal products, and these two girls were really sort of enthused by it and raised £700 or £800 through what they did, and it was through a sort of catering type of offer that they put together. Fantastic idea, and talking about benefiting wider society, a great idea. And the young lad on the left, that was a litter pick in his park, so he was quite keen on sort of sustainability and looking at the environment and how it improved. So he did a sponsored litter pick, and the young fellow in the bottom left-hand corner was a good gardener and B, a good baker, as you can see. So he grew vegetables that they used in their club for teas and the catering offer that they had. So in fact, I think he's kind of now made sure that it's sustainable and that they're going to repeat it, keep it going, built a vegetable patch. And then the other ones are all different kinds of ideas. Most club days, for example, running bake sales. Israel, they did a whole lot of 5-kilometer runs, and very generously gave us the money that he fundraised. Okay, it's coming to the end of it. You'll be glad to hear. So when we talk about what's expected from a young leader, this is really just to kind of put it into context. So we will deliver you with an enjoyable program that we hope you will get the various skills that I've spoken about. You will improve in terms of your self-development, and in return, what we ask for is your commitment to completing the program, to completing 20 hours of volunteering that you put back into your club or into your school or into the community, as long as it's cricket related, how you deliver those 20 hours. And again, some brilliant examples of a young lad who had a brother who was severely dyslexic. So he helped him kind of interpret and learn sign language so that he could basically deliver the program to him. And they asked us, "Is that okay?" As one, of course it is. That's a wonderful thing to do. So we just ask you to make that commitment, and we ask you to show that commitment. And this is to provide also you with a bit of, as a young person, a bit of a support structure. Okay, so we ask the parents and the young person and whoever's going to be delivering the volunteering hours to make this three-way commitment. We call it a pledge. And through that we can, the parent can have the young person knows that the parents got their back, or parent or guardian's got their back. The young person knows they'll be able to get to the courses because the parents or guardians will get them. They've also got a cheerleader then standing in the wings, motivating them to finish the program. And then in terms of offering the volunteering hours, that's important. So if we can either get involved in that, or you as a parent at the club can talk to the club about what volunteering hours there might be and make sure that they make them available for your son or daughter. So that's the route to the program. Enthuse you've done now. Obviously, we ask you to sign the pledge when you sign up, and then we just take you through the various steps to getting you to onto the platform. Just a quick aside here: if any of you are happy to take up a role of a club coordinator, again, it sounds grand, but it's literally just being a liaison person for us at the club that can work between us and the club. So in terms of offering the volunteering hours, or being able to encourage the club to provide fundraising opportunities and spaces, or being able to enable young people to do the fundraising. If you'd like to offer your services to do that, and it's, as I say, literally it's just being a liaison person for us, a touch point, then please drop Jane an email, and she can involve you with your club and your young leader. As Jane said, Play is the platform we use, and we use that to communicate with the parents. It's just useful having it online on your device and being able to book online, being able to see what events are coming up. And also we will try and keep each young leader updated as to what they've completed and where they've which bits they've done and what they might still need to do. Jane's just put her email address in there. And that's just a quick flowchart of what happens. Okay, so you sign up using the sign up form on our website. We will then send you a link to activate your account on Play with your password and everything there. And then you get on Play and you go along and pay for the program, and then away you go from there. There's some comments from last year. I'd just like to put those up, not as part of self-aggrandizement, but as part of giving you the assurance that young people who come on the program enjoy it, and their parents have written to us to say how much they've enjoyed it and what they've got out of it, I suppose, is the important bit. So the one about the fundraising there was really interesting. So like there was a mum who wrote to us on that, saying how the difference it made to them as individuals, and gave them enabled them to get very involved in doing the fundraising, and all the other bits that they learn from the program, and how then they can behave interactively, and become part of the kind of all the different areas that they can help out at the club. Okay, and if you do want to sign up directly, then there's the QR code, and you can just zap that with your phone. It'll take you directly to the sign up form. But Jane will email you with the sign up link for tomorrow. Okay, and then finally, this is at the end of the program. We do like to celebrate and thank the young leaders for the effort they've put in over the course of the program, and each achievement is marked with a certificate. So each of the modules comes with a certificate, and then if you complete your fundraising, complete your volunteering, we then give you a completion certificate, and we have a little ceremony where we can celebrate and say a massive thank you to both you and your parents, who will have done a lot of the hard work in helping facilitate either getting you to the club or helping with transport and that kind of stuff. So that, in a nutshell, is the Young Leaders in Cricket program. If you have any questions, and Jane, if you just want to jump back in, please ask away, and we'll try to answer them between us. So I know the dates are probably the one you might want a bit more clarity on. So I'll just get that up for you. Okay. So as Jane was saying, next week we will have modules running in Surrey and Kent as well, I think, and then a couple of other
Norfolk. We've
Norfolk,
got
Cambridgeshire,
Norfolk and Cricket East and Cambridgeshire.
Yeah.
We've also got Essex running in May half term, as well as all the other areas Chris has just mentioned. I will be starting the online modules, so the fundraising and the mental resilience will resume after the Easter holidays. We thought that actually, because a lot of our participants will be doing all-day training this week and next week, that it would be too much that if we put up a mental resilience course in the evening and some participants had already spent all day training, that would be too much. So we will resume that once the Easter holidays. So from the 22nd, is that the Tuesday after the Easter Monday? So I will be posting that on the events, and you will get notification in play.
Kaylee, sorry, just to answer your question. Sorry, Kaylee asked a question about strictly 8 and 9. If your son's a rising 14-year-old, or is turning 13 earlier on, turned 13 earlier on in the year, then it should be fine. We do kind of take it to the or leave it to the parents' discretion. If you think that they ready and could cope with the modules, then sure, no problem. Sorry, Jen.
That's fine. I was just going to say also, I have heard from one club that the young leaders that the club put through young leaders every year, and 2 years ago they did their fundraising, they paid the part of the fundraising, they paid back to the young leaders program, and the surplus they had, they went to the committee and asked to get the light up cricket stumps. So now they have a commitment, because I think I heard it was maybe £300 a year to rent them, the light up cricket stumps. So actually the club now and the young leaders have a commitment that they have to do that fundraising every year, and I love that. I love that story. And of course all the youngsters love the fact that they've got the light up cricket stumps.
Yeah, it's all very popular now.
Really popular.
Kelly was asking about Guildford and Surrey. So they're in Guildford and Surrey. So Surrey is reasonably blessed with there are quite a few venues. So if it isn't actually Guildford, it will be west, sort of the west part of Surrey. That's quite a few of the modules get delivered in.
We've got the Bourne and Weybridge Vandals next week, if that's going to help.
Yeah, well,
so,
both of them out that way.
But I think once you've registered, you will be able to have a look at the areas, the and the locations, and decide what we're hoping is that the modules we're running next week, because it's a full day of training, so if it's the first aid, young activator and young cricket official, that will be from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. So even if it's, we're hoping even if it's an hour's drive, that's doable because they are covering three of the 4 face-to-face modules. So we're actually getting a huge chunk, and it's a whole day of training. And Chris has been to a couple this week. I've been to one this week. And I mean, obviously the weather helped. All of the children were having so much fun, just on the outfield and learning about being a cricket official, learning how to be a young activator for the youngsters. I didn't see one surly teenager, which I was really surprised at, actually. They all had a smile on their face, which was really lovely to see.
Great, sounds like a good cure for silly teenagers. Right, well, thanks, Jen, and thank you for being so positive about the program. Any other questions? If not, happy to close it off there. And of course, if you do have any other questions that you think about, just drop us a line or give us a call or email either myself or Jen. We can answer them.
We've got one. Jenny's just asking a question here, Chris.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, that's lovely to hear.
Okay, thanks,
Brilliant.
Jenny. Right, thank you, everyone, and good night, and hopefully we'll see you on the program.
Cheers.
Okay, thank you very much. So informative, and thank you very much for your time and a great course that you're putting together. So
thank you, Colin.
I really hope my son was listening to it for some. He's just had to go off now on another call. So hopefully I can. He looked interested, so I'll talk to